All right, welcome back, everybody. It is another episode of the Monty and Murdy College Football Show, and this episode, man, we got a Week 3 preview. Big games on the slate. Monty, what's up, dude? How we doing?
Ready to go for the preview, dude. Like I said last episode, big week for the Tennessee Volunteers and the Georgia Bulldogs, man.
Big week.
Probably you'd say for game of the week. Obviously, College Game Day is going to be there. 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern kickoff. I'm excited for that game. Nervous as hell as a Tennessee fan. Excited as a football fan. But a lot of the other games to talk about today. Really excited. The season's starting to kind of kick into gear. You can see it. SEC games are starting. Big Ten games are starting. A lot of conference games starting this week and into next week and stuff. So it feels like it's kind of starting to kick off. I'm excited for this week and on.
Yeah, I think we just need to take a moment just to appreciate, kind of the moment that we're in here with the college football season in
Goes
full
by
swing.
quick.
Because it goes by quick, dude. We're going to be here before you know it. We're going to look up. Me and you are going to be breaking down playoff games. And then we'll be back in the offseason swing, just dreading our lives. Waiting for the dark days of the offseason. And me and you just trying to scrounge and gather something to make an episode out of. Hopefully something big happens. So
we're here now. We're here now,
and we are going to appreciate it now.
Ready to talk about week 3.
All right, so before we dive into the Week 3 games, y'all, there has been some controversy regarding the AP Top 25 and one Miss Haley Sawyer, beat reporter for USC, who is catching a little bit of flack for her AP poll because she bumped Florida up 2 spots after losing to USF. And it's just got people questioning the legitimacy of the AP poll. Monty, what says you, man? What do you think?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm sure many of our few listeners also had heard about it, but a lot of people have heard about it. And my first thought obviously was when you're scrolling through X or Twitter, and you see that she had that interview. You saw the video, and she's like, "Yeah, well, I'm not really going to go into my decision making, blah blah blah.
My process.
I'm not quoting her fully, but basically was talking about how she's not going to go through the process. But then at the end of what she said, she was like, "It probably doesn't even matter."
Yeah.
And when I first heard her say that, I was like, well, as a college football fan, it's frustrating. But then you start to think about it, and you kind of zoom out, and it's yes, she got the magnifying glass, but if you zoom out, it comes down to the people that run college football. It's the people that they don't really care about college football as much as the people with no voice care about college football. So when you have people in a position of power that don't necessarily care about the sport or what's good for the sport, it almost has that trickle down effect where if they don't care, then they're going to put people in those voting situations that also don't care. And they might care about, so a lot of those people, for those who don't know, so that Haley Sawyer, she's a beat reporter for the USC Trojans football team, right? So she's working, and she mentions it in that interview that, she's working late at a football game that night, and then she has to wake up early and vote, right? But she's only watching the USC. So she probably didn't watch that USF Florida game, right? So it's like, how can you put people in those situations where they're not watching these games? They don't know what happened. A lot of times they don't even check, which is probably, and I don't know for sure, but it's probably what she did. So she was like, oh, well, Florida, they were supposed to be good, so I'll move them up because these teams that I do know lost, they moved back. And then USF, she probably didn't even know that they were playing each other. She might have, but so they don't become ranked in her vote. So it's a trickle down effect, I think. And so it's never, for the most part, one person's fault when it comes to that kind of thing. And it's just too bad for the sport. I get what she might have been trying to say when she says at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. She might have been talking about the CFP poll come November, but the CFP poll, the people that vote on that, those people also don't really fully know what's going on in the country, and their vote a lot of times relies on what that current AP poll is going into that first college football playoff poll. So yes, it does matter. All those votes matter. All those rankings that top 25 and on, it matters. And it's just too bad that a lot of people don't care, but it's not necessarily people that are voting. It's not necessarily their fault. Yeah, they shouldn't be there, but it's the people at the top that put them there, and then they vote. So it's too bad, but maybe there'll be a fix. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of crazy that we give all this weight to, let's call them, we can call them reporters if you want to call them that, beat writers that just follow one specific team, probably have, no knowledge what goes on across the country. Their only job is to follow that one team, right? And that's who we're given the power to make these votes, make these polls. And when I know there's plenty of college football fanatics out there, I'm talking about fanatics that would kill to be able to have an AP top 25 vote, right? They would kill. They would grind. They would watch every snap of every team that they were considering putting in, right? So they watched 40 freaking games and watch every snap of those teams and weigh them out and do the whole thing. And it's just because like you said, it does carry weight. It's not like it doesn't matter. I think her point whenever she was talking about it doesn't matter is she was mentioned that there was so many voters in the AP poll that, it just resets. It doesn't really matter what one person gets wrong or, whatever the case. But it's like you said, well, if everybody just kind of writes it in, then why are we giving this poll any kind of weight?
You definitely don't want people voting that say or think. She happened to say it, but people that think, my vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
you don't want that. Can't have that.
Can't have that. So yeah, there's definitely some controversy regarding the AP top 25. And it's like you said, the committee thing, I at least like the idea that they have to sit down and all collectively decide and all collectively, because I would like to think at least somebody in that room is familiar with a specific program and they're aware of kind of how they're playing or, how that team looks. But granted, that's not always the case. So it's an imperfect system, and how we haven't gotten to a better solution is kind of one of the craziest parts to me. How there's just not something. I mean, I know there's tons of people who I would trust to be an AP voter
that are not currently.
That are not, yeah. I mean, Josh Pate, J.D. Pickell, a lot of the 1-3 guys, or on 3 guys. The Ari Wasserman. Like, there's tons of guys that are just college football fanatics, dude.
And I can't remember. I don't believe he is, but Greg McElroy. I don't know if he has a vote or not. He might have said he did, but if he doesn't, that's another great one. I love his show. Big fan of his show. You listen to him and he's like, he knows everything about all these teams and all these players on these teams. It's like, you need people like that. All of them need to be like that.
Yeah.
Even if it is like, cause there's like however many hundreds of people, 200 people, whatever, that vote on the AP. I don't know the actual number. Even if there's just a 50 of them.
Yeah.
50 to 100, whatever number you want, but like small, but the people that watch all these games for a living, for like their job is to watch all these games, break them down, all these players, stuff like that. That is the people that you need to put in the vote, in the power and the sense of the vote. Even those people at the top, the playoff committee, the Josh Pates, the Greg McElroys, the Nick Sabans, I know he's more NFL, but the Tony Romos of college football.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah, the ones who know the sport, the ins and outs of the sport, they can. I had
the curb streets. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean it.
I just especially when you look at like the industry, like one of the biggest entities in college football is On3. How they haven't put something together, where, hey, all their different On3 riders, they all collectively come together. Maybe I'm giving them a business idea here. So On3, if you freaking take this
trademarked,
it's trademarked right here. This is my idea that I'm speaking to y'all. How you haven't gotten, all those different guys who are all employed by On3 to kind of come together weekly, give an On3 poll to maybe eventually try to replace the AP Top 25, where you actually have all these guys. Now, granted, there would be some stuff regards to, people saying, oh, well, the SEC is just going to run it because ESPN bought On3 and, that whole deal. And ESPN is also heavily tied into the SEC. But at the end of the day, I want people who watch ball and know ball and care about college football to be the ones that make the polls. I guess that makes sense. Maybe we can give you a vote, Monty. We'll get you an AP vote.
Tennessee's his number one team every week.
Every week.
every week,
like
baby. 0-7 and still voting for him number one.
Yeah, number one.
No, but I mean, hell yeah, if somebody gave me a job, if I got paid X amount of money every year for however many weeks, right?
Doesn't even have to be that much. I'd do it for cheap.
9 weeks of the year, or 8 weeks, whatever it is, before the CFP poll comes out. Are you kidding me, dude? I'd sit down and watch every single freaking game. Group of 5, Power 4.
Yeah, I would. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. I'd tell the wife, hey, I'd love to, but I got to work. This is my job I'm grinding about over here. You know what I mean?
Seat back, feet up.
All right. That's enough AP Top 25 discussion. If y'all have any comments about it, anything y'all want to let us know, drop it in the comments. We'll try to get back to y'all on it. Let's go ahead and dive into the biggest game of week 3. A lot of big games of week 3. This is the biggest game of week 3. UGA and the Dogs are going to Neyland to take on the Volunteers. And Monty, I'm going to tee this one up for you, dog. What are your thoughts?
Well, and we're predicting winners now, right?
Yes, we are predicting winners now.
I'll get to that at the end. What I did want to start with, I'll start with Tennessee's keys to the game, okay, before I predict my winner here. Because as you noted prior to this episode, that last year I notoriously picked Georgia to win, and I was correct.
You did. Tennessee Georgia's a 3.5 point favorite. Opened as a 6.5. They're a 3.5 now.
3.5 or 4.5, depending on where you look. But yes, it's gone down from what it was initially. Tennessee's keys to the game, though. So starting fast. That's one of the important things for Tennessee to do on offense. Big plays early, the deep ball. We obviously struggled all year last year with the deep ball. Seems like we might have somebody that can throw a deep ball this year based on the last 2 games. Yeah, Syracuse, yeah, ETSU, whatever. But connecting on the deep ball is connecting on the deep ball no matter who you play if they're open. So starting fast and hitting a deep ball or 2 early is very important. It makes Georgia honor the pass game and not do what they've done the past 2 years, which is isolate their DBs, put them on an island, and pack the box. Because we know Heupel, his offense, if you look at the track record based on what people have thought, run first, throw second. That's Heupel's philosophy when it comes to the offense. Even in 2022, when we were the high octane, when Tennessee was the high octane offense in the air game, Tennessee still ran the ball 55% of the time compared to that one just died. Compared to the 45% in the air. That was in 2022, right? So they've always been known to run the ball. How you get the run game open, how you get those running lanes open is to be able to dominate the air early, make them honor it. With that being said, you need to open up the run game, as I've kind of just said. But Joey Aguilar, with him being the quarterback now at Tennessee, he needs to hit that deep ball. He needs to have control of this game. He has no anxiety. He shouldn't have much anxiety going into this game. He wasn't supposed to be the guy that comes into Tennessee and is the savior of Tennessee, right? He was just the guy that we got in place of Nico, and we got the veteran quarterback. And Tennessee didn't even think that he was going to be what he is already been against Syracuse and ETSU. So he shouldn't have much anxiety going into this game. It's another game in Neyland. It's a big game, yes, but he just needs to go out there, sling the rock around the yard a little bit, make his presence known early, so then Tennessee can open those run lanes early. I'm trying so hard not to say we.
Mm-hmm. I can tell.
But
It's almost making you stumble over your words.
Yeah, well, I keep correcting myself. But yeah, just go out there and enjoy the game, right? Just go around and have some fun. Okay. With that being said, the three-headed snake in the backfield: Peyton Lewis, Star Thomas, and Deshaun Bishop. That's our three-headed snake in the backfield. If we can get those guys going into the end of the first half and into the second half, man, it could be a boat race game for Tennessee. Not saying it's going to be, but it could be. There's ways to do it. Okay. I'll go to the Georgia keys to the game now. So Georgia's keys to this game is to dominate the air on defense, shut down the air early. So basically yin and yang, quite the opposite of what Tennessee needs to do on offense. Georgia needs to dominate the air on defense, shut it down, close up the passing lanes, do what they've done the past 2 years against Tennessee's offense, and then you can stack the box. Once they stack the box, it'll shut down Heupel's offense and what his bread and butter is, running the ball. And you know what a stout Georgia defense can do when they got like 7 or 8 in the box? It shuts everything down. And then Georgia's offense is going to do what they do. And that leads me to my next point. Keep the ball away. Play keep away with the football.
Georgia or Tennessee?
Georgia. Keep the ball away from Tennessee.
Okay.
So on offense, Georgia, keep the ball away from Tennessee. Pound the rock. Do what Georgia does best historically. Do what they did against Texas last year to Tennessee this year. Georgia's offense last year, running the ball, was like 196th or 106th or something like that in the country running the ball. But when they played Texas, and I remember texting you this last year when they played them in the regular season, I said, this is an old school Georgia run game right now. And that's how they won that football game in Austin. They're able to do that against Tennessee with that Tennessee defensive line. They can do whatever the hell they want, damn near, on the offensive side of the ball, which leads me to Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton, if I was Kirby Smart, I'd say let it fly, dude.
Needs to.
You got nothing to lose this game. You're in Neyland. It's one of the most dangerous places to play. You got athletes around you. You got Kirby Smart. You got Mike Bobo calling plays, who I know Georgia fans, they go back and forth on Bobo, but they've also they've been very closed off. I assume, but I'm like 90% sure they've been very closed off in play calling the past 2 weeks. People have said that Georgia hasn't been playing whatever. They beat Marshall 45-7. They did all right against Austin Peay, but I doubt. I guarantee. Actually, I'll say this: I guarantee you that they ran a very closed playbook against Austin Peay. They're going to open it up against Tennessee, and Tennessee needs to be ready for it. But I would say to Gunnar Stockton, let the ball fly, dude. Throw the rock around the yard. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll run the ball. But overall, the major keys to this game, what I think the deciding factor of this game will be, is the trenches. Georgia's O-line, Tennessee's D-line. I think that's what's going to matter at the end of this game, where we look back and say, this one beat that one, and this is how this game ended up. With that being said, I think this is Tennessee's best year to do it. I'm taking Tennessee.
Going with the Vols.
I am
so,
this year.
I actually have a counterpoint in this one. You said Tennessee needs to start fast. For me, in this game, if I'm talking about keys to win, I think Georgia needs to start fast. I don't think this Georgia team, at least from what we've seen for 2 weeks and with Gunnar Stockton, I understand they may have been playing shelled, but I don't believe they're built to play from behind.
Let me rephrase.
If Tennessee jumps out on them, I think Georgia might be in trouble. But if you give Georgia a lead, they're going to be able to suffocate Tennessee with that
That's
defense.
what I'm saying.
All right. Sorry about that, y'all. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. So let me dive back in. So, yeah, Monty, my keys to this game was kind of like the opposite of yours. I think Georgia needs to start fast because I don't think Georgia is going to be built to play from behind with Gunnar Stockton.
Right. Okay. So that's what I was saying. I was trying to rephrase. it's more imperative for Tennessee to start fast than it is for Georgia to start fast because of playing from behind. If Tennessee can go up early, if they can dominate the skies early, it leaves less room for mistakes for Georgia comparatively to if Georgia starts fast. I think the door's blown wide open and it's game over for Tennessee. I think it's more imperative that Tennessee starts early because, mind you, Tennessee last year, they started the game up 10-0. In the second half, Georgia won 31-7. Final score is 31-17.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. Another key point
or maybe
I had
not second half, but anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Another key point I had is Joey Aguilar. He hasn't had a tendency to do it this year. He had it in the past. I just think he needs to limit his mistakes. I think if he gives Georgia any kind of easy ones, throws maybe 1-2 picks, I think that makes the game really tough for Tennessee to be able to overcome and still win.
I agree. I think it's important, though, for Heupel and Halsley, or Tennessee's OC, to if Joey Aguilar were to throw an interception, if he were to turn the ball over, fumble, whatever, to relay to him that it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't let that get you. It's the next play. Hey, plays over, because yes, turnovers do happen. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's more likely against a team like Georgia than it is against an ETSU or a Syracuse or most other teams, really. So, just yes, if it does happen, the first time it's like, hey, you're good.
Yeah, he can't go out there and play scared. He's got to cut it loose. I just think a couple turnovers in this game could put Tennessee in a really bad spot, which, I mean, that's not like crazy analytical, right? Like, obviously, if Georgia goes out here and throws 2 picks, guess what? They're in a bad spot against Tennessee.
Right.
It's not crazy. He hasn't shown that tendency this year with Tennessee. He's just shown it in the past. So that's just one thing, a note I had there. But I'm going to join you here. I think the Vols get it done after 8 years, right? It's 8 years straight that Georgia's beaten them. I think the Vols get it done in Neyland. Like I said, I like this Tennessee team. And we're gonna find out a whole lot about them this year. In this game, we're gonna see kind of what they got, and I think we're gonna find out a lot about Georgia. But from what I've seen, man, it makes me hesitant to be able to trust Gunnar Stockton, to be able to keep this with the Georgia teams at hold. I think Georgia might not have quite. I know there was some bad taste in their mouth about Carson Beck from last year, but what I think he was very consistent for them, and I think he was able to kind of just keep the ship going straight, which is all you got to do. And I have some question marks about when it comes to Gunnar Stockton. So yeah, give me Tennessee in Neyland to be able to get this done. And obviously, it kind of goes without saying, I don't think Gunnar Stockton's kind of played. I mean, he played in the SEC championship, but I don't think it's going to be near as hostile as it will be inside of Neyland, with nothing but Tennessee fans there.
We shall see. Checker Neyland, mind you.
Oh, they checkered it.
They're checkering. Yep. Can be a fun scene in Neyland.
All right, let's go ahead and roll on to our next game. We're both going with Tennessee there, getting the win over Georgia. Notre Dame versus A&M. Man, as I've thought about this one, right? I believe Notre Dame is favored by 6.5. Pretty considerable whenever you consider that they just lost their last game to Miami. So it's a pretty considerable amount there. Notre Dame to be favored by. But I like the Aggies in this one. I like the Aggies.
And why is that?
The Aggies are going to South Bend, but, man, I feel like I just don't know what to expect out of Notre Dame. I think they've taken a step back when it comes to their offensive line play and their defensive line play. I don't think they're as good up front as they were last year. And they ain't got Riley Leonard coming, to play a little hero ball for them. So I just don't think C.J. Carrs is good, and I can trust Marcel Reed and that A&M team to be able to get the job done here. in South Bend. So yeah, give me Notre Dame starting the year off 0-2.
See, and I'm gonna have to strongly disagree with you on this one. I'm taking Notre Dame. I actually disagree with you on CJ Carr as well. After watching that Miami Notre Dame game, I was very impressed with CJ Carr, the quarterback position. He showed that he might not be the runner that Riley Leonard was, but he is as resilient as Riley Leonard, and he's a freshman. Another thing, O-line. I don't think they've really dropped off at O-line either. I really don't.
Really?
The Notre Dame O-line is.
So do you think Miami was just that much better?
We can talk about Miami if you want, but I think that Miami's defense is far better than what it was last year, and
Yeah.
I think Carson Beck is back to playing like 2023 Georgia quarterback rather than 2024. But that's a different conversation. I think Miami is probably one of those teams that is as good as they look for now. But when it comes to Notre Dame, going to be in South Bend. South Bend is going to be rocking because they know how important this game is. Can't lose 2 anymore, right? You might be able to lose.
Marcus Freeman 1-2 at home openers in South Bend. It's 1-2.
Okay, statistically, yeah, that's fine. But I don't think this Notre Dame team, when we're specifically talking about offensive line and quarterback play, they're not really dropping off. They might be dropped off a little bit, right? They went to the national championship last year, contended for a national championship last year. Okay, fine. But I think when it comes to A&M, this year, being in South Bend is another big thing. I think that they get this one. I told you before the episode, I believe that this is more of a make or break game for both these teams. And you questioned me on that, understandably, because it is an earlier game in the season. You said, well, not necessarily for A&M, but definitely for Notre Dame. It's more of a tone setter for both teams. Because, like you said, if Notre Dame loses, they're 0-2, right? They literally have to win out if they want any chance of making the playoff, right?
And the thing is, they're going to win out, and they're not going to have a lot of opportunities for quality wins. There's a USC game looming for them, but outside of that, your argument against 9-3 or 8-4, even 8-4 SEC teams might not be very good.
Right. And for A&M, this is a tone setter because it's like they're kind of on the outside looking in right now. What are they? Number 16 in the country
16,
in the AP. And it's kind of like if they win this game, it's like, okay, A&M might be something in the SEC this year. Like this is kind of like the Tennessee Georgia game for Tennessee. Who are we? Who are we? Right? Who are we this year? And I think this is that game for A&M. So I think what this game comes down to is the run game on either side. Notre Dame, it comes down to what Jeremiah Love can do to open up the passing lanes for CJ Carr. A&M, they need to open up the run game alongside Marcel Reed because Marcel Reed can run the ball and he can throw the ball when he gets hot. So it's what run game can do better in the first half, but overall 4 quarters, and what can that run game then open up for these teams. Defense is going to play defense. I trust Notre Dame's defense. I think A&M's got a really good defense this year. It comes down to what these teams can do offensively, specifically in the run game. We'll wait and see. But I'm taking Notre Dame. So.
No, it was. Yeah, so I expected Notre Dame to be able to run the ball a little bit better than they did against Miami. And I think Marcel Reed, with what he adds in the +1 quarterback running game, I think that may give A&M advantage here. That's kind of what I'm leaning to, but it's probably going to be a pretty hostile crowd in South Bend. So yeah, should be a good game. You're going with Notre Dame. I'm taking the Aggies. I may end up kicking myself in the butt for that, for believing in A&M, but we'll see what they end up doing.
Well,
here.
we'll see this game. We'll see what A&M's about.
It was a great game last year.
It was
early on. It was a great game last year. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and roll on to the next one, man. We got Florida, after we talked about last episode, coming off a loss to USF, and now they got to get in the teeth of their schedule, going to play in Baton Rouge against LSU at night in Death Valley. Monty, what you got on this one?
It's a place I would not want to play on a Saturday night, that's for sure. Number 3, LSU is hosting Florida.
Now unranked Florida. or
Yeah.
AP unranked Florida.
You notice how I didn't say a number next to their name.
Yeah.
Something that I noted about LSU, it seems like they got a little swagger to them this year. Even Brian Kelly's got a little swagger to him right now. He seems a little different this year. He's got a little swagger. I like
the little press conference. I can't do that. No.
Yeah, he's got a little swagger to him, right?
Yeah,
and the Nuss Bus got a little swagger, a little chip on his shoulder. Man, LSU, I'm not as high on them as a lot of people are. I don't think they should have been number 3 yet, but nonetheless, they are when it comes to the AP poll. A hot seat game for Billy Napier. I think it's a hot seat game I'm not saying he's going to get fired after this game. I'm just saying it's a hot seat. It's like, it goes back to the early games of last year for Florida, right? It's like you lose 2 straight, 1 to UCF, 1 to LSU. Yes, it is. LSU's probably really good this year. It also depends on how much they lose by if they were to lose, right? But it's like this is a very important game for Billy Napier's career as the head coach at Florida. And if they lose this game, with losing to USF last week, and the gauntlet of a season, a schedule that they have this year, going 1-2 in your first 3, when you're supposed to be at least 2-1.
Well, that's kind of the whole thing. Is like they lost one that they were supposed to win, so now they're going to have to win one that they were supposed to lose.
Right, not a lot of room for error, right? So it's like if they don't win this game, it's not looking good for them this year. I mean, it's kind of similar to last year, and I hate, to keep bringing up last year, but it's like it wasn't looking good for Florida last year because they had a similar season last year, or schedule last year. They were supposed to go 3-9 last year, right at the beginning, and then they ended up turning it around. They had a good end of the season. They ended it hot, and I thought that was going to be the case this year, going into this year, that they were going to keep the momentum, and then they lose to USF. Despite what we think USF is or is not, nonetheless, they lost at home. And now they got to go on the road at night in Baton Rouge to play a seemingly very good LSU team. It doesn't look too good for them. Lagway has to actually step up this game. This has to be a Lagway-led game. It's like the hey, we're going to turn this around, and we're going to freaking go out there. We're going to beat this team on the road, and it's got to be led by Lagway. They have the talent to match up with an LSU. I just don't think Lagway keep up with Nussmeier. For that, I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
And on top of that, LSU defense.
Yeah, I mean, but coming off of weeks at linebacker, dude. Yeah. So the thing is, Florida, I feel like they're going to put up a better fight than what, people may expect. They're like, oh, they got beat by USF. Now they're going to go to Baton Rouge and they're just going to get blown out. I don't think Florida's going to get blown out in this game. I feel like they're going to fight. They may. I'm not saying it's outlandish, right? But what I think they will.
I don't think they're either.
You'll see a lot of fight come out of Florida here. But overall, I think that's just a terrible spot to be in. If Florida would have beat USF last week, I would have still picked LSU in this game. Death Valley at night, and with question marks at the quarterback position for Florida, how well he's going to be able to knock that rust off that we saw was evident in USF. I don't think you're going to have to wake Florida up for this game. I think they'll come with the mindset to play. However, a quarterback that's looked rusty up to this point, and, LSU, they didn't beat the brakes off of Louisiana Tech last week either. But
no, they did not.
They did not. But something's still got to be said for whenever you don't have your best, you're still able to win the football game, right?
Yeah. And I will make it crystal clear that I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I agree with you that I think Florida's going to come to play. My only concern is that LSU's defense is far better than what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think Florida's defense is going to be able to stop the Nuss Bus enough times compared to LSU. I trust LSU's defense more than I trust Florida's defense, especially right now. Because, they didn't play well against Louisiana Tech. LSU didn't. But it's like that was kind of one of those games where they fell asleep. Florida did the same. They ended up losing, right? So they're going to go into this game, huge game,
Yeah.
arguably a rivalry game, right? So
Yep.
it's a wait and see game. But I am taking LSU. It could be a shootout. I don't think it will be. I'm not going to predict a score, but I could see it being a 27-17 type of game. So we'll wait and see, but yeah, I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, I like that 27-17. That feels good. Somewhere around there.
28-17 if you want a different number than 7.
28-13, something like that. Yeah, I'm with you there. Give me LSU. Both taking LSU there. So we got one more game on the slate, and we got one speaker, kind of like sleeper pick game that's should be on y'all's radar. So we're going to put it out there for you. We got Miami versus USF, baby. The Bulls are going to Miami with a gauntlet of a start to the season. Me personally, I'll give my take on this first because I want you to have the floor to finish this out here. I think USF's magical run comes to an end here. I think they were able to catch Florida sleeping a little bit. I think Miami knows well what is coming, and they know they better wake up to play this game because if they don't, USF will take it. So yeah, I think USF's run comes to an end. I gotta trust Carson Beck, be able to try to finish it out, whereas DJ Lagway was not able to close that game out. So yeah, I got to go with Miami here. I think they're going to be a little too much for USF in the trenches, and Carson Beck at quarterback there. So yeah, give me Miami in this one.
See, and you just said something. You said if Miami doesn't play well, I'm paraphrasing, but you said if Miami doesn't play well, if they don't do what people expect them to do, right? USF will take it.
We'll take it.
That's the thing about USF.
I think Golish.
They're good.
I think Golish and this USF team, they have a killer mentality. If they catch you sleeping, they know it. And if you get them in a game, if you don't, that's the thing. Miami doesn't need to make this. This does not need to be a fourth quarter game. If this is a fourth quarter one score game, all bets are off.
Sounds like you're backtracking.
I'm not backtracking. I think Miami is just not going to make this a fourth quarter game.
I believe the magic is not done. I'm taking the USF Bulls. I'm taking Alex Golish, former Tennessee offensive coordinator. No, that's not why I'm picking them. I think that this team is the real deal. I think that they can win this game. That's more so why I'm picking them. I agree that they should not be favored in this game. I agree that Miami's the more talented team. I agree with all that. But I do see USF beating them. What do they got to lose? They just beat Florida in the Swamp. What do they got to lose? That's what Golish is going to be telling them.
They're playing with house money, 100%.
We ain't got nothing to lose. So we're just going to go out there, play our brand of football, dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, get to the quarterback, slow the game down, and dominate. And I think that's what they're going to do. I like that defense way too much to disrespect them. You saw what they did against Florida last game. Yes, I said about the game on our last episode that Florida walked into that game, looked like they were forced to play the game they didn't want to play. I know I said that, and I stand by that. However, partially the domination was because it was USF's domination on the defensive line, which held Florida to 16 points at home. If you win in the Swamp, if you can go on the road and win in the Swamp, that Miami stadium's not going to be sold out. It's not going to be as loud as the Swamp. It's right down the road. It's a home game. There's probably going to be more South Florida fans there than there will be Miami with the Cinderella run that they're going on.
I don't know about that one, but
I'm calling it right now. But I'm taking the Bulls of USF, the Fighting Alex Golishes, as some would say.
As some would say, yeah, should be a good one there. Miami is favored by 17.5 points. I don't know if they're going to win by that much. I wouldn't touch this game as far as like betting wise. Probably one I'd stick away from, just because that 17.5 points is a lot for a USF team that's playing pretty good. But I still think Miami's going to end up getting out of there with a W. One game that I know we do agree on, which we've been half and half so far. We both took Tennessee. I took A&M. You took Notre Dame. Both agreed LSU. Then you took USF. I took Miami. One game I know we both agree on, and just a sneaky pick for y'all to be watching. Early slate game, Clemson versus Georgia Tech. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're both going with Georgia Tech in this one. Clemson's favored by 3.5.
Give me the Yellow Jackets.
3.5. I think, yeah, give me the Yellow Jackets. Give me the points. Give me, yeah, Yellow Jackets.
Massive trap game. Even more so of a trap game now with Clemson struggling the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's just, man, what else can you say? What else can you say? I just think Clemson's coming in. They're coming in limping, right? This could be a point where Dabo is able to rally the troops, get the boys back, bought in. But I just think that's a tough...
Haynes King, our king.
Haynes King, our king, right? And just Brent Key running the football. Haynes King. I mean, at this point, from what we've seen of Cade Klubnik and Haynes King, who do you trust more late in the game? I think this will be a late one-score game.
Based on what we've seen this year. Now, this can be a big middle finger, a Dabo middle finger game, and they can just go in there and trounce Georgia Tech. We don't know. But based on what we've seen this year, yeah, I'm riding with Haynes King and Brent Key. Yeah. And it's in Atlanta, and Georgia Tech's undefeated. They're gonna have students out there. They're gonna have a crowd. It's gonna be loud. We'll see what Clemson can do. I mean, I do trust Dabo and Cade Klubnik on the road, but I just think Georgia Tech is one of those. If it comes down to the fourth quarter, yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech.
Which, there is some injury concern for Haynes King. Brent Key's already said he's playing, feels good, looks good. We'll see. I've never heard anybody say they're starting quarterback if they've already confirmed they're playing. I've never heard him come and say it's like, hey, man, he's like 50% where he's going to limp out there. I don't think I've never heard Coach Speak say that. And
I also don't think Haynes King would take no for an answer for this game. So you can tell him he's not playing. He'd be like, nah, I'll play. So,
yeah. Absolutely. So that's a good one to watch. Both picking Georgia Tech there to pull the upset off Clemson, which is crazy considering how far Clemson's came. Even in our rankings, we both had them at 4.
I thought they were a national championship contender, and they still could be.
Still could be, but they're going to need to turn some things around. So that one, and we also mentioned, do you want to dive into this other one real quick? Ole Miss, Arkansas. Just another good game to watch at 6 p.m. Saturday night.
I think it's one of those home trap games for Ole Miss. Yeah, Arkansas is 2-0. Ole Miss is 2-0. Ole Miss still trying to find their identity. I like Austin Simmons a lot at the quarterback position. I think he's a good filler for Jackson Dart. He's not yet as good, obviously, as Jackson Dart, but he's been playing good ball. But I like Taylor Green, and this is Sam Pittman's fighting year at Arkansas, so anything could happen there. And Arkansas's got a stout defense too, so we'll see.
Yeah, another good game to watch. Other than that, man, you got anything else on week 3?
I'm very excited for it. I'm
very excited.
Nervous for one in particular, but very excited for all of them.
Yeah.
A lot of identity. I think a lot of identities will be found this week.
We will know a lot more about a lot of these teams at the end of this week. So we'll be sure to touch on that for y'all in our recap episode, which will hopefully drop early next week. Until then, man, we appreciate y'all for listening. As always, subscribe to the show. Tell your friends about it. That's one of the best way for especially one of these smaller podcasts to kind of get off. Tell your friends about it, man. Show them the show. If there's anything y'all want us to do, anything, comment to us. Let us know, man. We're always open to suggestions. And until next time, we'll catch y'all next week. Enjoy y'all's college football Saturday, man. Peace.